Welcome to week 4. It's our final week. You're almost done. You guys have done awesome. Everything that I've seen this morning as I was grading has been fantastic. So be sure you look at your feedback. I did pretty much give everybody a little bit of pointers and things I wanted you to change or add to. So be sure you look at your rubrics comments for those, but everybody did a fantastic job. So everyone that has turned in week 3 is going to have a very short week because week 4 is not a whole lot of stuff. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Don't forget, Christy's our learning coach, and she is available in the SSC. If you need help, you can email her, or you can look at her schedule posted in the announcements and go in the SSC and see her. As a reminder, I am in the SSC on Thursday and Friday. From Thursday from 8 to 11 p.m. Mountain Time, and on Friday from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. Mountain Time. So if you get stuck this week, don't hesitate to come in and see me or shoot me an email like always. Our assessment. You have one final assessment this week. And all month long you've been working on it. You chose a company and you created a self-promotional ad. Everybody has done that, and like I said before, you guys did fantastic. All of your ads look really great. They are very fun and entertaining, and you got your point across. You guys did an exceptional job this mod. I am very, very proud of all of you. For your final assessment, you're going to finish up your animation reviewing the feedback that I gave you this morning and tips to bring it up to portfolio quality and bring it up to that next level so it's really solid ad. So be sure that you look over that feedback because I will expect to see it when you submit this final. It's a big portion of your grade, so be sure you check out those rubric comments. And today we are going to go over testing and publishing your animation. Your final assessment submission, you're going to create a folder, which most of you did last week, so you can just continue to use that folder. And you're going to name it DS246 Final Assessment. Just change the name of the folder to your first and last name. Make sure you save your FLA file into that folder. It has to be turned in along with all of your published files. You're going to open your Animate CC document and you're going to convert it to HTML5 Canvas, which you should have done last week, but a few of you missed that step. So if you did not do it, make sure you get it done for this final. You're going to test your animation to make sure it still performs as expected in HTML5 Canvas. So make sure you test it in your browser and it looks good. And then you are going to zip the entire folder with all the files that Animate has generated for your animation to submit for grading. You're going to name that zip file DS246 Final Assessment, your first name, your last name. And then you're going to publish your animation live and include the URL to the animation in the comments box where you submit your folder. You can publish to Behance, or for those of you that have already had the Muse class, you can open up the Muse file that you did for that class, add the animation to it, and upload it to Business Catalyst, and then send me the link. I would strongly suggest that you guys add it to your Behance accounts. All of you have had great ads. Show them off. Put them on Behance so that everybody else can see them. You guys did a great job for this to be your first Animate class. And we are going to go over today how to upload projects to Behance. So we've learned a lot about animation, especially about 2D animation, but technically there are 5 different types of animation. Anybody have any idea what they are? Can you guys name a few of them? One of them's 2D animation. What other kind of animation do we have? Think Disney. What does Disney do?
Frame by frame.
There's frame by frame animation, and Disney does what?
3D animation.
3D animation, yes. Let me pull this video up here because it's very, very good at demonstrating the 5 types of animation. You've got your traditional animation, of course, which is, you know, we draw the images kind of like, how many of you guys can remember in art class doing the flip book? Where on the corner of a piece of paper, you drew a character, and then you turn the sheet and you drew a character in the exact same place, but that character had a slight adjustment.
That's not called frame by frame?
It's just like frame by frame, yes. Frame by frame is traditional animation. That is the way animation started.
Okay.
Those flip books were very, very fun. And
I used to make them in the corner of my notes all the time and get yelled at.
right, yeah, see, me too.
Why do your lips need EOS? Because it's got better ingredients, like shea butter and coconut oil, which keeps your lips feeling soft. So even if you're kissing this, your lips will still be doing this. EOS, the only lip balm that works as good as it looks.
Hey guys, in this video I'm going to go over the 5 different types of animation and show you some cool examples of each of them. If you're interested in becoming an animator, I have a cool surprise at the end of this video, and I'll show you what you can do to pursue career in animation based on the type of animation you're interested in. But if you're just an animation fan, that's okay. This video is going to be a lot of fun for you either way, so stick around. Now let's get to it. We'll start off with traditional animation. You might call it 2D animation, but I actually place 2D in a different category, and you'll see why later in the video. Traditional animation, sometimes referred to as cell animation, is one of the older forms of animation. In it, the animator draws every frame to create the animation sequence, just like they used to do in the old days at Disney. If you've ever had one of those flip books when you were a kid, you'll know what I mean. Sequential drawings, screened quickly one after another, create the illusion of movement. Traditional animation consists of hand drawings called frames. In the past, the drawing occurred on a big light table, which is basically a drafting table with a big light panel in the middle of it, on which the animator drew the sequence. The light enabled the animator to see his previous drawings through the paper to get a better look of his animation. This is called onion skinning. Nowadays, even traditional animation is being done mostly on computers by using a tablet like the Wacom Cintiq. 2D or traditional animation is usually animated on 12 frames per second, with occasional faster actions animated on 24 frames per second. Japanese animation, however, is known to be animated on a lower frame rate in most cases. Next on the list is 2D animation. When I talk about 2D animation, I'm referring to vector-based animation, like the ones done in Flash. This style has become very popular in the last decade, with the increasing amount of people doing it due to the accessibility of the technology. Flash is cheap and easy to use, such are other vector-based animation programs. The reason I place 2D animation in a different category is that in addition to the option of animating frame by frame, an animator has an option of creating rigs for the characters and then moving the body parts individually instead of drawing the character over and over again. After Effects allows you to create complex rigs for animation, or use the puppet tool to drag and move body parts around. These flexibilities give beginners more option when approaching animation, especially if drawing isn't their strong suit, unlike traditional animation where drawing skills are mandatory. The third type is 3D animation, also known as computer animation, or honestly just animation at this point, since this is the most common form of animation today, just like traditional animation used to just be called animation 30 years ago. 3D animation, however, works in a completely different way than traditional animation. They both require an understanding of the same principles of movement and composition, but the technical skill set is very different for each task. Like I've mentioned before, while in the past you had to be an amazing draftsman to be an animator, with computer animation that is not the case. 3D animation is more similar to playing with puppets rather than drawing. The animator moves the character in a 3D program with special controls that are connected to each body part, such as hands, elbows, lips, etc., and then sets a keyframe when all the body parts are in the right position. They proceed to move forward in time and move all these controls again to create another keyframe. The computer then calculates the journey the body part is going through between each of those keyframes. The 3D animator will spend most of their time looking at curves that represent the movement of different body parts over time. Another big difference with 3D animation is that, unlike traditional animation, the character's body parts are always present and should be taken into consideration. Let me explain. When animating in 2D, the character has to be drawn for every frame. When the character is viewed from the side, half of its body isn't shown and thus isn't drawn. It technically does not exist. It's drawn on a flat page, and there isn't really more to the character other than what the animator draws. With 3D though, the character's body parts always exist in the shot. Even when one hand isn't visible, it's still there. That adds some work for the animator, since we need to be aware of the entire character at all times. The last major difference with 3D animation is the frame rate. Like I said before, traditional animators usually work on twos, which means they draw a new drawing every 2 frames, and thus having one drawing lasts for 2 frames. With 3D animation, however, the motion is always smooth, except for stylized pieces, which intentionally try to look different. Having a character stop completely looks like a mistake in 3D. Even when the character is standing still, there should always be some sign of life. This is something 2D animation can get away with much more easily than 3D. Number 4 on our list is motion graphics. While still considered a form of animation, motion graphics is rather different than the other types of animation on the list. Mostly because, unlike the other types, it is not character or story driven. It is the art of creatively moving graphic elements or text, usually for commercial or promotional purposes. Think animated logos, explainer videos, app commercials, television promos, or even film opening titles. The skills for motion graphics don't necessarily translate to the other types of animation, since they don't require knowledge of body mechanics or acting, but they do have some attributes in common, such as understanding good composition and the all-important camera motion. Last but not least is stop motion. Stop motion is a special form of animation that combines live-action filmmaking principles with traditional character animation. Stop motion is done by taking a photo of an object and then moving it just a little bit and taking another photo. The process is then repeated, and when the photos are played back one after another, they give the illusion of movement. This is similar to traditional animation, but it uses real-life material instead of drawings. Let's look at some different styles of stop motion. One of the most popular forms is claymation, working with clay or Play-Doh characters that can easily be manipulated for animation. Advanced claymation, as seen in the Neverhood or Armenkrog, uses metal skeletons on which the clay is then molded for more sturdy rigs. Some animators would use regular puppets instead of clay ones, usually also built upon some sort of skeleton rig. The faces of the characters can be replaced based on the expressions or be controlled within the rig. Another popular form of stop motion is cutout, using construction paper or cardboard characters and placing them on paper while shooting the animation from above. That's how South Park was originally made before they switched to computers. Similar to cutout animation, silhouette animation uses cardboard or some kind of flat material, but the objects are all dark and the shot is depicted with silhouettes only. This is one of the oldest forms of stop motion and is rarely used today. Some use action figures or Lego characters for animation. This genre is very popular on YouTube, with many channels dedicated to creating funny skits with Lego characters. Robot Chicken is a great example of that. They use famous action figures to make fun of pop culture. Then there's pixelation, a form of stop motion that uses real people and real environments to create unreal videos. It uses the stop motion method of taking a still photo, moving things around, and then taking another photo, but the subject matter is usually real people instead of puppets. Alright, so now you know all about the different types of animation. If you're interested in taking things to the next level, I have written a complete guide with step-by-step process to learning each of those 5.
So guys, that is the 5 types of animation. How many of you realize there were so many? We really don't think about them in terms of being that specific, do we? We usually say 3D, 2D, that sort of thing. And then, of course, the claymation. We're all kind of familiar with that, or the puppets, because we've seen that. You see it on TV occasionally. How many of you realize that South Park was first created using nothing more than paper? So now we kind of have a new appreciation for animation there. So I want you guys to think about everything you've learned this month. I want you to tell me what you think about this video. It was definitely drawn frame by frame. How was the user interface? Were you being led back through the story pretty good? What was leading you? Did you guys notice specifically what was helping lead you from each situation to the next? The characters, yes. What was producing the feeling from one scene to the next? The music. Yes, they did an excellent job of bringing you through that animation with the music. You had suspense and frightening. They did a very, very unique job of splicing that music together so it worked and led the audience and made you feel what they wanted you to feel at that specific time. And then transitioning it to another feeling without making you feel like, whoa, what just happened here? That was because of the music and the expressions on your characters, the things that were happening in those scenes. It just played very, very well together. So let's hop over to Animate. And let's take a look at what you guys need to do for your final. Once you've had your final animation, first thing, make sure you've tested it and you have watched your final animation in your browser. Make sure nothing is cut off that shouldn't be cut off, that everything is placed well and looks good while it's playing in the actual browser. The sound is off in this one a little bit. So I'm going to have to go back here. And which sound is that? The track. Coffee cup sound is off. So I'm going to grab these frames. And I'm actually going to pull them up a little bit.
Misty, how did you grab them frames and move them up? What buttons did you push?
It needs to come a little bit further. It's no buttons. All you have to do is, I went to the timeline, held my mouse button down and selected those frames. And then released my mouse button and clicked on it again and just pulled them forward a little bit.
Okay, thank you.
Still a little off. So you may have to play around with your sound, guys, until you get it just right. Most of your sound was pretty spot on. But you're going to want to make sure you test for things like that. That works pretty good. Once you get everything tested in the browser and it looks good, you're going to go back to frame 1. All of you that have sound that starts in frame 1, it needs to be moved back a frame. If you will just simply click on frame 1, right click, and insert blank keyframe. Except for I want it to go before it. Come on, you may just be able to pick it up and move it. There you go. You can just click in frame 1 and then drag it to frame 2. Here is the reason. In order to upload to Behance, you have to export your file as an actual movie. And JavaScript starts counting in frame 0, but sound counts in frame 1. So if your sound actually starts in frame 0, which is frame 1 on your timeline, it will not export. Your sound must start on frame 2. So you can just click in frame 1 and drag it back to frame 2, and it will move it. And then you're going to save it. Don't forget to make your folder. DS246 final assessment, your first and last name. You're going to save it in your folder. And you're going to go to File, and you're going to go to Publish Settings. Now this week, you're going to uncheck Loop Timeline, you're going to check JPEG image and OAM package. So on the left-hand sidebar on your published settings, you should have JavaScript/HTML selected, JPEG image selected, and OAM package selected. And you're going to hit publish. And then you hit OK. And then you go to File, you go to Export. Now you can export a few different ways. The two you're definitely going to need is you're going to have to export video. Make sure it saves in your final folder. Yeah. Nope, that was not right. There it is. If you have ActionScript on there, when you export it as a video, it's going to give you some errors. You can just ignore them. It's just basically saying, hey, this ActionScript is not going to work in this video. It's not supposed to. And then export as an animated GIF. Some of you may have trouble exporting as an animated GIF if your animation is the full 30 seconds long. It may take it a minute or it may time out. If it times out, it's no big deal. I just want you guys to practice exporting as animated GIFs, because if you get into animation, you will find a lot of just little simple things. People wanting you to animate their logos to put on their Facebook profile picture, that sort of thing. Or small quick ads to add to their social media accounts. Those need to be animated GIFs. Now, once you've exported it as video, your media encoder is automatically going to open. It may take it a moment, but it will eventually automatically open. And this is the GIF. Yeah, I'm just going to save it. Now, let's see, my Adobe Media Coder still isn't all the way open yet. It does take it a moment to load, guys, so just be patient with it. It will eventually open. Come on. If it refuses to open, like apparently mine is, I'm going to force quit it. And simply go back up, export video again. Hit export, yes. And now it's going to open Media Coder again. There's nothing fast about the media encoder, guys. And this is the first time I've opened it since the update, so this is taking even longer than normal. Come on. That's fine, Dwayne. Aha! Look at here. And it opens. Not all the way yet. Okay, now it is open. Okay, I only need one of these. You can see it tried to open 3 times, failed twice. And so it's in here 3 actual times. I do not need all of these. So I'm going to get rid of them by clicking the minus sign. Yes, I only want to leave 1 instance. Okay, you see right here where it says custom. You're going to click that little drop down right next to custom. And you're going to go down and you see you've got all kinds of choices here. Easiest one that will make the smallest file size, which will make it easier for you to upload, is the YouTube 480p SD. Just click it. Custom will change to show that YouTube that you chose. And then right here, you're going to click the play button. And it's going to output a new file that's MP4. And when it's done, it will show this little check mark. It tells you everything went well, you're good. So then you can just close Media Encoder. if you open up your Finder, and you go to your desktop, and you go to that Finals folder, you're going to see all kinds of files in there now. You should have an FLA, an HTML, a JPG image. You're going to have your .js file, a .mov file, a .oam file, a .gif, and then you'll see that recovered file, which will disappear eventually. And then you're going to have your sound folder. Now then, to upload to Behance. How many of you have uploaded to Behance before?
I have it.
Most of you at this point should have uploaded to Behance at least once from one of your other classes.
I never did.
So I need to open up my Adobe Creative Cloud folder. Which for some reason isn't open. It usually is. It's not this morning though. So if yours isn't open, you can simply go into your applications, find the Adobe Creative Cloud folder, and it will open. And double click it, and it will open. It should appear at the top of your screen. I'm going to grab it and drag it out so it's an independent window. And then you can just go into Discover, and this will open up your Behance portal. And click on Add Work. It's going to pull up your web browser, and it's going to log you into Behance. And this is where you can add your work. So you're going to create a project. And you can embed. You can CC files, Lightroom photos. You can just click Files. And then, of course, you're going to find your folder. And then you can upload one of two ways. You can upload the GIF, or you can upload the MP4, which is not saved in here, which means I did not get saved in the right place. Uh-oh. Does not look like. Encoder did not save my file in the right folder, and I didn't think to check it. Let's see if we can find it. There it is. So I'm going to copy that. Oops, no, I don't want to play you. I just want to move you. I'm going to put it back on my desktop. And then move it from my desktop to the right folder. Inside. It will go in there for now. Okay, so I'm going to hit open. And it's going to go through. And it says your video has uploaded successfully and is being converted. Just hit save and then hit continue. Then it asks you to upload an image. That's why I had you put a check mark next to that JPG image so that it gives you one so you can put it in there. I'm going to hit open. Please choose an image that is at least 632 pixels tall. It looks like I need to do some work on that image. I'm going to go back, find my folder. Desktop. This needs to go inside there. There's my image. I'm going to open it in Photoshop. Oops. And I'm going to need to make it at least 632 pixels tall. Come on, Photoshop.
Looks like it's being stubborn today.
Yeah, I've just got so much open that it's taking a little bit.
Good afternoon. I got stomach flu last night. Lucky didn't make it to class.
Okay, since the image that Animate exported for me wasn't big enough, we're going to open it here in Photoshop and we're going to change the size so that it is big enough. Behance says it needs to be at least 632 pixels tall. Come on. There we go. Maybe. Finally. Maybe. Have you guys done your updates? How many of you have done your updates and opened Illustrator since that update? How you guys liking that new properties panel? Okay, now that it's open, I know I need to make it bigger. So I'm going to go to image. I'm going to go to image size. And I'm going to change inches to pixels. And the height needs to be 632 at least. And I'm going to hit OK. And I'm going to hit save. And then go back to Behance. And go to upload image again. And then you can play around with what you want seen in your photo. And you're going to give it a project title. Oops. You can call it whatever you want. Doesn't matter what you put there. And then you're going to hit crop and continue. Now it is required that you say how you want the project categorized. So if you hit add, you can do animation. You can choose advertising. You can choose graphic design. However you want to categorize your animation, you can. You have to pick at least one, and one of those should be animation. And hit done. And then you can choose your software. No co-owners, no copyright, and it doesn't contain adult content, so I'm hitting publish. Now you can also post it to your Facebook page or your Twitter or your Pinterest or your LinkedIn, however you want to do it. You're going to copy this link. That is what you are going to paste into the comments box when you upload your zip file. Once it's uploaded, be sure you play it through. And it will stop for you. Any questions about uploading to Behance? It's pretty simple as long as you've exported your file right. Remember, you're not exporting as video. You are not exporting as movie. You are exporting as video. So when you're in Animate and you go to export, don't choose movie, choose video. And when you publish, make sure that all three of those have check marks next to them. Any questions, guys?
Now, is this all done in Photoshop?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Is this all done in Photoshop?
I edited the image that exported from Animate in Photoshop because I needed to make it bigger.
Put it back in the Animate and do it that way?
Yeah, when you put a check mark next to the JPG image, it's going to automatically export an image of your stage for you to use on Behance. Mine was too small. It has to be at least 632 pixels tall. So most of you are going to have to fix yours. So I just opened it into Photoshop and went to image and image size and changed the height to 632 pixels and then resaved it.
So we stay with the same width then? That's all.
Yeah, resaved it the exact same name.
Just the height.
I just went to file and hit save. It asked me if I wanted to replace it. I hit yes. And then I just went back to Behance and uploaded the image again. Any other questions?
So is that the main project? Because I got in here a little bit late. So
Yep.
Project for week 4.
Yeah, week 4 is very short. All you have to do is publish it, export it, and then upload it to your Behance. Submit your zip folder and the URL to your Behance page where it's at, and you're done.
So are you going to show any of the illustrations that we did today?
Am I gonna what?
Or were you going to show us any illustrations that we put in for the class today, or going to be tomorrow?
What do you mean?
The animated illustrations that we did, that we turned in.
The illustrations that you did?
Yeah, the one like I did on the Cafe Del Mar.
Okay, what about them?
I said, are you going to show any of the students' illustrations that they did?
No. FPA, the new privacy policies and things like that prevent me from doing that unless I go in and change the file names on everybody's file.
Oh, really?
That's why I haven't done any live critiques this month, because it would have taken too long to go in and change all your files to make sure there was no personal information before I showed it. However,
I would like to see
I am going to open the announcements. So those of you that would like to share your work, I'm going to post an announcement to share your work and will allow you guys to reply to it. So those of you that would like to share can either upload your file there to share it, or you can paste your Behance copy to it so that your other students, everybody else can see it.
I'd just like to see what other students did.
Oh yeah, there's been some absolutely fantastic stuff. So I will post an announcement so that you guys can do that and share with each other.
That'd be kind of cool.
because I think it's a great idea too, but the new privacy laws prevent me from actually doing that anymore. Okay, guys, well, I think what we will do then, since we still have plenty of lecture time left, is tomorrow we will open up for an open session. And anyone needing help can come in. I think I will open it at noon tomorrow instead of 1. So from noon to 4. Noon to 4, would that be right? Let's see. Yeah, noon to 4. No, noon to 3. Noon to 3. My Zoom room will be open for anyone that needs help.
Okay, cool.
So if you're having trouble doing the final and getting it exported and things like that, or if you're still working on week 3 or trying to do the things I suggested and having issues, come in and see me tomorrow and we'll get those taken care of.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yep. Sounds great.
All right, guys, then we will call it an evening so you guys can look through my feedback and get what you can done. And then if you need help tomorrow, I will help you out and we'll get it finished. Okay?
So when will your video come back in? About an hour and a half or 2 hours?
It will be noon to 3 Mountain Time, 1 to 4 Central Time, 11 to 2 Eastern Time. I think that's right.
So for my time, it'd be about probably 4 o'clock this afternoon then,
Yes.
Pacific.
What time zone are you in, Mark?
Pacific.
Pacific. You're an hour. What time is it at your house right now?
It says 2:58.
On your computer, it says 2:58, or are you seeing my screen?
I think I might be seeing on your screen.
Because your Central Time, it's 2:58.
Yeah. So
Mountain Time, it's 1:58.
I must be 12.
So I think you're 12:58.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, I was looking at the clock last night going, why? It can't be 2 o'clock.
Right.
It'll be 12 o'clock. 12:58. Almost 1 o'clock.
Okay, guys, then we will call it an evening, and I will see those of you that need help tomorrow at noon.
Okay, so yours at 12. So would that be mine at 11?
Yeah, Jesse says 2 hours behind, so it would be 10 a.m. Pacific time. So it'd be 10 a.m. your time.
10 a.m. my time for tomorrow? Okay. Have a good day.
Okay, guys. Have a good afternoon. You're welcome.